As Beverly Hills bakes, court grants shady trees a temporary reprieve from chainsaw. A tree was reduced to a pile of branches and logs in Beverly Hills recently. A judge has issued a preliminary injunction requiring the city to preserve dozens of other trees that were slated for removal. Wendy Clank. Tree advocates in Beverly Hills have won a reprieve for dozens of Indian laurel figs that were slated to be raised by the city after arguing in court, in part, that the mature trees provided critical shade for humans and wildlife in a warming world. Recently, Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge James C. Chalfant granted the Robertson Boulevard Special Task Force a preliminary injunction to halt the city from clear-cutting 36 Indian laurel figs, commonly known as ficus trees, on Robertson Boulevard, one of the city's major commercial corridors. Crews have already felled more than 50 trees as part of a sidewalk renovation project, but opponents argued in court filings that the city failed to properly consider the environmental impacts of the trees' removal. "I'm just ecstatic, and my clients are ecstatic," said Jamie T. Hall, a land use and environmental attorney with Channel Law Group LLP who is representing the task force. California. A battle to save Beverly Hills shady ficus trees is underway. Some 87 ficus trees on Robertson Boulevard will be cut down for a sidewalk project. For some, the removals are bittersweet. For others, they feel like a death. February 13, 2023. The judge's order comes as humanity experiences its hottest July on record and at a time when cities are being urged to expand their tree cover to protect residents and wildlife from the worsening effects of climate change. But, despite recommendations to expand tree cover, some municipalities are choosing instead to reduce it, Hall said. This is happening across the state, and cities are trying to find a shortcut. They want to downsize the urban canopy and they don't want to do the required environmental analysis, Hall said. "I hope this is a warning sign to other cities that they cannot shortcut the environmental analysis required by law, and that they must consider the environmental consequences of their actions both for existing urban residents and for the wildlife that call cities home." In an email, the city of Beverly Hills said it would continue with its sidewalk improvement project and will follow the judge's preliminary injunction until a final order is issued. In the meantime, the city will continue to explore all additional options, the email said. A different judge issued a temporary restraining order in late March, forbidding the city from chopping down more trees until the preliminary injunction. The case was reassigned to Chalfant in June. Crews began cutting the trees in Beverly Hills in February as part of a more than $7 million sidewalk restoration project, which involved plans to cut down some 87 60 to 100-year-old ficus trees and replacing them with alternating crepe myrtles and Mexican fan palms. The project will include the removal and replacement of sidewalks, curb ramps, and more, and the installation of an irrigation system. The city and some business owners blamed the ficus trees for leaving messy droppings, causing drainage issues, and damaging buildings and sidewalks. Beverly Hills Public Information Officer said the city had received several trip equals and equals fall claims in recent years, and that it could no longer repair the sidewalk without replacing it, which would have required 8 inches of excavation and would destabilize the trees. Incensed by the city's actions, local resident and business owner Wendy Clank launched a campaign to convince officials to prevent more tree cuttings and find other solutions, forming the Robertson Boulevard Special Task Force in the process. Clank and other tenants and business owners filed a lawsuit against the city alleging the removals would cause irreversible harm to the street's businesses and wildlife, and that they were not adequately notified the trees would be cut down. Business owner Wendy Clank formed the Robertson Boulevard Special Task Force to save shade trees in Beverly Hills. Jason Armand / Los Angeles Times. In a court filing, the city's attorneys said the city engaged in extensive public outreach for years and held numerous public meetings to discuss the sidewalk repairs and the removal and replacement of the ficus trees before the project was approved in December. They also claimed the crepe myrtles would provide similar amounts of shade and noise reduction. The city's public information officer said project notices were hand-delivered to businesses along Robert